They say time heals, yet I'm still not done healing, is what I used to think. January the 1st, 2016. It was a new year and a fresh start for most of you. But for me, it was a new beginning to a new way of life. The day my mother passed away. My mum had been tackling cancer for over 4 years, so I always knew that day would come, despite hoping it never would. When it finally came, we were all in India for a treatment. I was woken one night at 3 a.m. and driven through dark village roads to meet my brother who had just come back with my mother's body. No one can imagine that type of loss. It left me physically and mentally empty. All I could do was think about what life was now going to be like without her. And no matter what people said, nothing mattered. She was my mother and my best friend. She was everything to me. Memories of her would haunt me. They'd come suddenly like a rush. I'd become so absorbed in this grief that it took a while to eventually realize there were others around me who were hurting as well, like my dad, who had spent many more years of his life with her than I. I'd never really talked to my dad too much before. Sometimes when I'd get home from school, he'd just be there, hurriedly eating so he could leave the house again to lead the next prayer. His evenings he gave to my mum, catching up and laughing in the living room. His soulmate had gone, and I hadn't realized this, but when I did, I decided I was going to do something about it. I decided I was going to befriend my father. It's strange and perhaps twisted to think that when someone so close to you passes away, it might also create some changes that are good. I'm obviously still a kid and do all the other normal things a teenager does. But I've learned to value the relationships around me much more now, especially with my father. Grief hurts anyone, whether you're young or old. In just 2015, 23,600 parents died in the UK, leaving dependent children behind them. That's one parent every 22 minutes. Yet, as a society, we go on almost like we'll all live forever. I'm not here to invoke either your sympathy or fear, but I am here to share that one day we will all have to deal with a loss like this. And as cliché as it may sound, time does heal. I want to end by sharing a thought which has brought me immense joy despite this tragic loss, that it really is better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all.